The next technique we're going to discuss is shaping your dough. Depending on what type of bread you're creating will ultimately decide how you are going to shape your dough. For this demonstration, we are going to talk about the most common types of bread shapes. The easiest and most common way to shape dough is to simply put it in a loaf. So for this, we're going to take our dough ball and we are gently going to roll, making sure that we don't make it too long or too wide. If this was unbaked dough, I would simply put it in a greased bread pan, allow it to rise, and then bake. The next type of shaping technique is similar to the loaf. However, we are going to continue to roll out our dough, and as I'm rolling, I'm working my fingers outwards to create a longer snake-like form. This is typically used when creating Italian loaf breads or French baguettes. French baguettes are typically long and thin, so for this step, we are going to continue to use our fingertips to roll a nice even shape with our dough. After this, you would cover the dough with a towel and allow the dough to rise. After rising, you would take the towel off and add in your docking slits. At this point, you would put it into the oven and allow to bake. For the next method we're going to talk about, we are going to make rolls. So what we want to do is we want to make this loaf into even sizes. So I'm going to take my bench and I am going to cut it in half. From here, you can square up your dough, cut it in half again. Depending on the size of your rolls, you can cut these in half again. So when creating individual loaves, you're going to take your cut and you are going to roll the dough into a nice ball shape, allow to rise, and then bake. If you want to add a little bit of flair into your dough, you can add in a couple of docks, allow to rise for about 10 more minutes, and then bake. If you want to impress your guests, you can do a braided loaf. From my dough ball, I am going to cut this into 3 even sections. From my 3 even sections, I'm going to take each section and roll it into a nice long snake. From here, I have taken my 3 snakes and I have evened them up. I will then begin braiding. I'm going to start with all 3 strands attached at the top, and I will begin a braid-like motion. You want to continue to cross the ropes over one another. From here, I will pinch my ends and allow my dough some room. I will then cover and allow the dough to rise for about 10 to 20 minutes before baking. There are plenty of ways to get creative when shaping your dough. The more creative you get, the prettier your dough. Congratulations, you have just finished shaping.